What is up, everybody? Welcome to my channel, John's Daily Hustle. Today's video, we're going to do the review of the Exmark Radius 60-inch X Series commercial zero-turn mower. And this is after about 400 hours of use. You guys can see right there, I've got 412 hours on it now, and I've owned it for about a year, give or take a few months. For the most part, this whole last season, it's pretty much been my main mower. Whatever yards it can't get, the Toro Time Master knocks out for me. For the most part, this mower has been my main mower for pretty much the entire season. I'd say this is the X Series mower, so it does have the bigger wheels on it. Both the back and the front have bigger wheels than the smaller version. Comes with a suspension seat and the more heavier duty deck. I did also buy mine with the Exmark operator controlled chute blocker, which you guys can go click that link up there to watch my review on it, and I highly suggest you go watch that review before you buy that yourself. So I'll leave my opinion on that out of the review of this, but I did get it with that. This one did come with the Kawasaki commercial engine. It is the FX730V, which I do believe is only a 24 horsepower engine. I do have a few complaints about that motor specifically. We'll go over that here in just a little bit. Let's go around the mower the rest of the way, and then we'll talk about the pros, and then we'll talk about the cons. This mower also did come with your little easy lift hitch here, which I absolutely love this. For those of you that are wondering, this right here is how I clean my deck and change my blades. You just pull this pin up here, and then this slides down like that. Your pin back in that hole there, and you spin the hitch and it jacks the entire mower up, as you guys can see right there. It makes it really easy for changing the front caster tires too. That's its raised and its fullest, highest length. Plenty of room to get underneath there, change the blades, clean the deck, whatever you need to do, change your front casters. One downside to that is you got to be careful about what's behind it, because as you guys can see, there's your clearance there. So if you have something sitting behind it, like in storage or in a trailer or whatever, you will crush that. So just remember that and keep that in mind if you do buy that. I personally believe every mower should come with one of these hitches. I absolutely love it. You don't have to do anything sketchy, like going up halfway on your ramp of your trailer. You don't have to go out and buy one of those mower lifts to completely lift it up. So I actually made one of those exactly like that for my other zero-turn mower. Of course, I ended up selling the other zero-turn mower before I was able to weld this onto it. I will give you guys dimensions for this in a whole nother video you guys will see. With whatever I might have coming in the future, we'll probably get this installed on, because I absolutely love this option here. I seriously think every mower should come with that. While we got this raised up here to our level, this mower does only have a sight glass for your fuel tank to see how much fuel it is. And right here, because I got the light over top of it just right, you can actually see the fuel in there. Downside to that, depending on where you are in the sun, you can't actually see the fuel level in it. I did say this mower only has about a 24 horsepower motor on it. It gets about a gallon of gas an hour, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on your conditions. So you can keep that in mind. I believe the owner's manual says it's got an 8-gallon tank, but it actually has, I've gotten about 9 gallons in it, 9 to 9.5 gallons in it. So you can use that for what you think it's worth. Recently learned some people prefer this type of fuel gauge as opposed to your actual fuel gauge over there on there, because over time those gauges do go bad. As well as if you have any large debris floating in there, you can kind of see it. It also has this little flip-up deck here where you can get down to service the spindles and change the belt out if you need to. Now, some guys said that these belts on these Exmarks do not last that long. This is the exact original belt that came on this mower from the factory. I have a spare belt in my truck I keep because I thought it was going to break already. There's a few spots on there that are kind of dry rotting and cracking a little bit through, but for the most part, I haven't had any problems with the deck or the belt or the spindles or the blades at all. Since we're on the topic of the spindles, one downside to all of these spindles is they are unserviceable spindles. You have no grease points on it, so depending on which way you look at it, that's cool. You don't have to worry about greasing it. But at the same time, they won't last as long as spindles that you can grease. So the cut quality of this mower is absolutely superb. So these might not be the best examples to show you guys, but you guys can see how well it stripes and how clean it actually does cut it. Again, like I said, it might not be the best properties to show you guys. You can check out some of my other videos for yourself, but this mower stripes very, very well. Even on some crappier yards, it stripes it very, very well and cuts cleanly. It's a very smooth operation. I usually do it with just one hand, and that right there is more than enough to turn. I did have to extend them with, some washers and some longer bolts, and I'm not sure why they don't exactly even up. They weren't exactly bend right even here from the factory when I got it, but it still works just fine for me. You guys know some mowers are very jerky. Like if you go like that and it takes a little bit of time before it catches, and then it, jerks you all around. Luckily, this one doesn't do that. It's actually very smooth operation. Also, while I'm sitting here, I will say I am 6'1", and you guys can see I'm sitting pretty comfortable. I'm not completely stretched all the way out, but I'm also not crunched up, so there's plenty of room to get comfortable on here. It does have the deck lift assist, which you can push up And you do get a few more inches by pushing it all the way, which helps when you're, jumping curbs or whatever, or maybe going over a tree stump that you want to make sure you absolutely don't hit. It's very easy to adjust. You can see here, you can go all the way down to 1.5 inches, all the way up to 5 inches, and it's very easy to adjust. You just pull that out, and that is magnetized, so you have a less chance of it falling off or rolling out or bouncing out. You just put it in its according slot like that, and then of course drop the deck, and that's mowed at 5 inches right there. You don't have to move a spacer or pull several pins and get it right, or pull a pin on this side and then pull a pin on this side. It's very easy. While we're here, one of the major cons I have with this mower is it is freaking huge. In your regular average size yard, I call it like landing a plane. I mean, you guys can see that front caster tire is just a little bit turned, but it sticks out real well. I mean, there's what, maybe 8 inches of stick out right there. So it's like landing a plane because you've got your wings here that stick out. So on your regular average size yards and smaller yards, that will hit stuff. And even scalping, if it's very uneven, as I have several uneven yards. Yes, this has scalp rollers all the way around it, but they don't really do anything for your uneven yards. This deck is so huge, you still will scalp on this side. However, in some cases, having those wings on the side can help you. For example, if you're mowing a fence line. Like this right here, you can actually use the wings and get it underneath the fence as you're mowing down, saving you a ton on trimming to where all you have to actually trim is around those posts there. And it actually works really well for that and saves a bunch of time like I had said. So keep that in mind if you have fences. Since we're talking about being big, this mower is also heavy. I believe in the owner's manual, I think it says it weighs like 1,100 pounds dry without somebody on it and without gas in it. You notice every pound of that weight when you're on yards, especially in the springtime here in my area. After we get all that rain, this absolutely will not only get stuck, but it will tear up yards. Even if you do 10-point turns, there's so much weight on the back tires that it will tear up yards. I also live in an area that's very flat and the water has nowhere to go. So it just sits in the yards and everything and sits for a very long time. And we get a lot of rain in the springtime. So that could be a part of it. You might not have to deal with that issue wherever you live. But here in the Midwest, we have to deal with that. And these tires, all the weight, it absolutely does tear up a yard no matter how slow you go and how careful and how many turns you take. Moving on to the motor, as I said we were coming back to, I highly recommend you buy a stronger motor. So at the time of me buying this mower, the 24 horsepower Kawasaki that's on it right now was the strongest you could get. So I got the biggest one I could get, and I tell you that 24 horses is very underpowered for a 60-inch deck, especially when you're doing leaf cleanups. Or if you get into any thick, tall grass like we have here. You know, we get a lot of tall fescue, so in the springtime, this mower bogs down big time. I do know that the new Exmark radiuses now have an option of a 28 horsepower motor. If you buy this mower, I 100% recommend you get the 28 horsepower motor, or even bigger if they have bigger options. Now, for the most part, I have not had any problems with this motor. It's been very easy to service. It does come with the oil hose out there. That just drains out the bottom right here. And a pretty quick dual stage air filter. Another huge plus is the rollover protection it actually has. As you guys see, this is all it is. It's just a little clip here that you can pull out, and then this moves up easy, and then you put that clip in. Just like that. And now that's safe and sturdy, and you do it on both sides. And it can actually be done from the operator seat, so you never really have to get off. And that right there is really nice because you don't have to worry about any bolts or nuts and wrenches and stuff loosening while you're out there. You can just be out in the field, pop this out, pull it up, and you're good to go. You can go up hills. Speaking of rollover protection in hills, this mower does really well on inclines and hills. I don't recommend this mower if you're using it, but it does do them pretty good. You can check out some of my older videos where I did some pretty steep stuff. I will say this mower did better on hills and inclines in the beginning when I first bought it than it does now. So I believe the weight has shifted on it at some point, or maybe one of the tires isn't quite gripping right, or maybe my air pressure is running higher than it was then. First year of use that I own this, I put it on some pretty steep hills. Exmark does offer the grass catching system for this mower, but it is expensive. I want to say it's like $2,500 or $3,000, close to it, and it sticks out a whole nother 12 inches. So you got to keep that in mind depending on what size trailer you run. Do you want to be taking that on and off all the time if you buy this mower? I highly recommend the 52-inch mower if you're going to run that grass catching system. So you're probably asking yourself, why buy the Radius when you could just buy the Laser Z? Well, here's the reason why. I got this fully loaded out the door for just over $10,000. I believe the Laser Z starts around $11,000 to $12,000 for the base model Laser Z. As for me, it's the weight and the size. The Laser Z is like another 6 inches longer than this, I believe it is, and it's a lot heavier. heavier because it's a big beefy mower compared to this. And this actually has a travel speed and mowing speed. I think it's like 1 mile an hour faster than the Laser Z. Not that that should be a selling point to anybody, but who knows. If you're a homeowner looking, I recommend this mower over top, say, the Exmark Quest. Now, it depends on your price range because the Exmark Quest, I believe, is a $5,000 mower, and this is a $10,000 mower. It all just depends on how much you're mowing. If you have several acres that need to be mowed, I highly recommend just upgrade and go with this mower here because it's a lot beefier of a mower. Some of you guys may remember I actually started running my business with the Exmark Quest that I got for free. To a commercial guy that might be interested in buying this mower, should you do it? Well, here's my honest answer. You have enough Exmark dealers near you and the dealer support is there, and that is the key word. You have to have dealer support, as we don't have in my area. The support is there. Sure, I highly recommend buying this as opposed to going for a cheaper option. But if you don't have that many dealers near you, I highly recommend going to a different brand, and here's why. One, because you should support the closest dealers to you, as well as getting parts. It can be very hard to get parts for it if you don't have that many dealers around. Well, as I will say, parts for this are a little bit on the pricier side. That one deck belt, I think I paid $160 for it. Granted, I haven't had to replace it yet, but other guys that have to replace that every couple hundred hours. It's pretty expensive, especially because there's other mower brands that are several $1,000s less to buy right off the bat, and their parts are way, way cheaper. For the 1.5 years, 2 years, however long I've owned it for, out of those few years that I've owned it for, I've been very happy with this mower. It's been my dealers that I've not been happy with, but again, you guys will see that video coming up real soon on what I've been dealing with. And I mean, the cut quality of this mower is absolutely superb. It's very, very good. For somebody, the cut quality is a big thing to you, this is a very good mower for you. Or if you're a homeowner that has several acres, this is also a very good mower for you. And to any of my commercial guys looking at buying this, get the bigger engine on it if you can. I highly recommend. If you can't get the bigger engine on it, you might have a better option than this. But if you have dealers near you, several of them, more than one, and you have good dealers, there's dealer support, get the bigger engine, and this is actually a very good mower. Especially for a lawn company that just might be starting out. Maybe already have 5 years under your belt already in experience. This is still a good mower for you. However, in my opinion, long term, you're not going to have a whole fleet of these mowers. You're going to find a whole better mower somewhere else. And when it comes down to financing options, I know Exmark does have a really good warranty with their mowers, and they have good financing options. So for the financing price, you might pay $20 more a month and have a several $1,000s more expensive mower than this, but it'll be a much better mower. So it all depends on what your business model is, what you like to go with. Are you financing it? Are you paying cash? What's your bottom dollar? What's your top dollar? And what you actually want. Me personally, I will be making a change next season, but it's not because this is a bad mower. It's because I have bad dealers near me. So hey, if you guys have any experience with this mower and you run one yourself, I want you to comment below your opinions on it. Do you agree with anything I said? Do you disagree with anything I said? Did you learn anything from anything I've said? Also, comment below if I helped you maybe make up your mind and opinion on whether or not you plan on buying one of these mowers. Hope I helped somebody out. That's why I do all this. So hey, please give me a big thumbs up, as I always appreciate y'all's support. And hey, while we're on my channel, go check out that video right there, and YouTube recommends that video right there. And please consider pushing that button right there and subscribing if you haven't already. And as always, guys, thank y'all. See y'all in the next one.